Alright, so alright, now I've got it in wind mitigation mode. So it's all the pilot now. The gyro just provides wind mitigation. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so let's get up here and see. I just want to see what my rolls are going to look like now. Okay, still a little lethargic to the left. I made some trim on the aileron, so let's see what it looks like to the right. Better to the right, so it looks pretty symmetrical from left to right. So I have the FMS T-28 Trojan 410mm wingspan, ready to fly. Micro Warbird. This is courtesy of Banggood. I thank them much for sending this for review. I think this is the very first FMS plane I've ever had in the air. So I like the fact that we've got another company entering the microplane market. The more, the merrier. And I'm really happy with the stock transmitter that came with it. It's really a pretty good quality. One of the best quality transmitters, stock transmitters I've seen with one of these little microplanes. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm also curious to see how their gyro works compared to the other microplanes I've flown. But let's bring it out here and see. Thankfully I've got little wind today and I've got blue sky. Can't beat that. Alright, so let's see if we can get it near. Oh, takes right off. Throttle back a bit. I've got it in fully stabilized mode right now. Let's see what kind of... Okay, so there's full left. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Full left aileron. Okay, let's see what we got to the right. Okay, there's full right aileron. It looks like it's a little tighter to the left than it is to the right. And bring it down a little bit. I'm still, and then this is just aileron. I'm not inputting any rudder. Now, of course, we'll input some rudder here, and you'll see that you can make a much tighter turn using a little bit of rudder. That's pretty tight. So you're going to be able to fly this in a very small area. Check that out. Look how nice and tight those turns are. I'm just giving a little bit of rudder. I'm not giving a whole lot of rudder. All right, let's bring it down. I didn't set my timer, so I'm just going to have to guesstimate. But usually you get a heck of a lot of flight time on one of these little microplanes, especially since let me see, I'm cruising around at about 50% throttle right now. All right, so let's come back from the sun here, put some rudder in, turn it around, and let's see. Let's come back across here, and then we'll check out the stunt button and see how that works. All right. Oh, there we go. There's a loop. Let's try that again. Let's try another loop. Oh, it does a good loop. All right, I'm going to bring it back down. I'm going to bring it back down a little bit, and then I want to try. Oh, check that out. It does a roll really fast. Okay, that was a left roll. So let's get back up here and try right. Oh, that rolls really, really well. That's one of the best performing, and I didn't see it lose any altitude. So that's one of the best stunt button rolls I've seen. So FMS might have it going on here. All right, I'll come back this way. I want to try a loop again at a little bit lower altitude, since it seems to do it just fine. All right, I'm going to go full throttle. Check that out. That's pretty nice, I have to say. How about that? It does stunts really, really well. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put it into the intermediate mode. Oh, it has a pretty good roll rate. Alright, let's see here. How about that? It's wanting to climb on me, so I'm kind of having to push the elevator down. I've already put a bunch of trim in it. A little slower to the right. But I like the fact that this intermediate mode is supposed to be just wind mitigation. That is what it appears to be. So if we do a split S with it, we can. How about that? So the intermediate mode on this is just like a wind mitigation mode. How about that? I like that. Now I need to do some trim work on it mechanically, or maybe I might put a little bit of nose weight on it just to see. It might be a little tail heavy. Let's see here. Check that out. That's pretty good. I really like their intermediate mode. If this is just wind mitigation mode, that's awesome. Now I did do one thing as far as adjustments on this plane before I brought it out. I did move the control horn linkage for the aileron. Yeah, it's very slow to the right. I did move the linkage for the ailerons from the outermost hole to the middle hole, just to give me more movement on the aileron. I think I'm going to move it to the innermost hole next time I bring it out. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of beeping here. I don't know, it must be the flight battery that's getting low. It starts beeping when it gets down to about 3.7 volts, and of course I've been doing a lot of aerobatics with it, so it just stopped beeping and now it started beeping again. So the lower the battery gets, the faster the beeps. the shorter the pause between beeps. Okay, so I'm going to come in from the opposite direction toward the sun instead of having the sun at my back. So let's see if we can set it down. Got it in fully stabilized mode, so let's see here. I knocked my prop off, but it's on its wheels. But that is a nice flying little plane. It's slightly larger wingspan than the old 400mm wingspan planes that we're all familiar with. It has a very good transmitter. It's one of the best transmitters I've seen for one of these microplanes. It was a little bit of a handful when I first switched it over into intermediate mode, which apparently is just a wind mitigation mode. Now that is absolutely fantastic, because the other 400mm Warbirds that I had to fly it in full manual mode, right? The only thing that you could do in intermediate mode with those was you could do loops. It wouldn't even let you do a roll. Okay, well this one in intermediate mode does not restrict your inputs on the sticks, which is fantastic. It's like a hobby grade gyro. Okay, so you've got fully stabilized mode, which restricts your bank and your pitch and won't let you do aerobatics except with the stunt button. But in intermediate mode, all it does is wind mitigation. It doesn't restrict you from doing aerobatics at all. And then you've got full manual mode, which is fantastic for getting everything balanced and trimmed out. So in the next flight, I'm going to put a little bit of nose weight on it before I add any more down trim in the elevator, just to see if it's slightly tail heavy, because most of these little microplanes that I have flown were just slightly tail heavy. So I'm going to put about 2.5 grams of nose weight on it and then put it back in the air again, and we'll see. But right now I am pretty impressed with this little plane, and I hope FMS comes out with a full line of them. That's absolutely fantastic. I really don't have any complaints so far with this plane, and I love what they've done with the gyro modes. I hope that other manufacturers follow suit and have an intermediate mode that just provides wind mitigation. That would be absolutely fantastic. I have already published the details on this plane on TinkerzLab. It will be in the playlist. There will be a link to the playlist in the show notes, and I will try to put it in a pinned comment at the bottom. There will be a link to the plane in there. Great looking little airframe, and those orange reddish wingtips and the vertical stabilizer and the nose make it really easy to see it in the air. That's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.